Work so much, my greatest fear is I'ma die alone. Every diamond in my chain, yeah, that's a milestone. I'm loving it. Calling me, asking me for money, man.
Hello everyone, this is Scaro again, and I'm bringing you another video. Today I'm going to talk more about Black Ops 4 since the first week's over and I got to play the beta, and just kind of my thoughts and general ideas on it, and how it felt to play, and what you guys can expect after week 1. This one's not going to be focused too much, it's just going to be a general thing. And I don't have this one pre-scripted, so it's just going to kind of be a general rambling one because I don't know really where to begin organizing my thoughts for kind of a shorter video. There will be a longer one at the end of this, or not at the end of this, but following up with this one later, either today or tomorrow. That'll be significantly longer than this video here, kind of going into more detailed descriptions of what I thought and some changes that I think would be necessary, or that if they don't want to implement as deep of changes, what are smaller ones that they could implement or to make it better for both the community or the competitive community who would be playing the game. So to begin with, I think I'll put the majority of this focus in as kind of like a public match player, so the general community base, and where the majority of the gameplay, or where the majority of the community will be playing the game. So to begin with, the biggest difference between this and probably World War II, there's a lot of them, but I would say gameplay-wise, specialists are going to be your biggest difference, which is something that's been in the past couple Call of Duty titles, I guess. Infinite Warfare had like character abilities or stuff like that, whereas Black Ops 3 had specialists, which are just your characters that you choose at the start of the game. With this one in the beta, so far there are only 10 specialists. I'm not going to list them off. You're able to Google them and find them if you want. But obviously those create a ton of different interactions for the game, and a lot of them you'll get to see here. This one I'm playing as Seraph, so I get to have a TAC deploy beacon or whatever. So it essentially works as a TAC insertion for your team, which is just gives a static spawn point for your team to spawn in on the map. And then her like ultimate ability or whatever hasn't changed from the Black Ops 3, so it's still the Annihilator, which is a single shot revolver that has 6 bullets in its chamber or whatever. You want to call it the rolling drum, and then with that the bullets do do single shots and can do bullet penetration through people, so you can get collaterals and stuff like that. So it's something you're familiar with. So enough rambling about that. As for public matches, I think they'll be pretty fun, to be honest. You're gonna have the new system of 5v5, which I see where Treyarch's trying to do it that way, which is they're trying to encourage the public community, I think, to think more competitive minded and get used to playing with smaller groups. And I think it's to bring the competitive community into trying to feel more comfortable in public matches and start to bridge the two communities together in order to have kind of a more unified community base that should help either bring them in more money or increase the longevity of their games, which is a good play by their point. The 5-person teams thing, I don't really have too big of a preference on. It's pretty whatever to me. But then having to select your specialist at the start of every game where there's no duplicate specialists is kind of cool, and I see the reason they're doing it, because you want to add more tactical gameplay, so you might want to have your team built a certain way, so it's like basically like champ select for MOBAs or stuff like that. But with how casual the community is for the most part in Call of Duty, I didn't really see that be a necessary change, but I see what they're hoping to come with from that. So I think I think the dashing component in this game is actually pretty good. It maintains the pace of the game, so it doesn't feel slow, it doesn't feel wonky or like your character's just stomping from place to place. So it plays well. Bullet registration's actually really good in comparison to what we've been dealing with for the past year in World War II, so that's always really great. It's something that you love to see, especially with any shooter, I would say, because you don't want to feel like you've unfairly won or lost gunfights at all. So it's nice to have the feeling that you properly won the gunfight or outgunned your opponent. During the beta, and especially in this gameplay, spawns may seem a little weird and hectic, but that turned out to just be a bug, so they patched it for the last day of the beta. And spawns felt pretty good in how I felt that they should play out. So I was really impressed by that. I mean, not impressed. I was really satisfied with that, because it's something that Call of Duty devs seem to have not been able to do for the past couple titles, or do well. But Treyarch's always been someone who does well with that, so it's nice to have that back. Oh yeah, and this one's just kind of a small quality of life thing that's pretty nice to feel for, which is just like if you accidentally use your ability or you're not paying attention to the clock too much and it's like the last couple seconds of the round and you use your specialist ability or anything like that, it doesn't punish you, it lets you carry that over to the next round, which is really nice. I can see that being really helpful in public matches and something that I think anybody in the community will actually really enjoy. I think one thing that'll be important for this and pubs in general is just kind of have the info on the HUD be better or located better. I think Domination's not a good example to show, which is the game mode that's being played right now, since I think the HUD info is pretty good for the most part. Or no, this is Hardpoint. It's hard to track like when the hill's timing out. Or where, like, yeah, when the hill's timing out. So right now, I have to look up at the top of my screen to see the little dot where it says capture to see what the time on the hill is, which is kind of annoying. World War II did a really good job of that, which is right where it had the hill times. You could see how much time is going on there, or how much time is remaining on the hill. So that was pretty helpful to have. So I would like to see that be something that's implemented, and also when you're playing like Domination, the B flag, C flag, and all that, those indicators on the map, they're good to have, but when you're looking directly at them, they don't kind of fade out, and so it kind of makes it hard when you're looking down a line of sight and all you have is a massive like C flag indicator blocking the alley or your line of sight. So I would like to see that changed. I know that's something Treyarch's done in the past. So, and I just turned on this guy, holy cow. I know that's something that Treyarch's done in the past, so I'd like to see them continue that. I think it's likely something that they just kind of forgot about, which is understandable. As for cons, in public matches, when you shoot and your teammate steps in front of you, it blocks your bullets, so your teammates absorb bullets now, which is kind of annoying to deal with because public match players don't really think about that kind of stuff because they haven't had to play with like team kill, which is fine. But it's annoying when you like get double killed or anything like that because of you accidentally shoot a teammate because they walk in front of you, or you know, you get what I mean from that. So I think that would just be like a small quality of life change to implement into it. Also, I don't understand why you can't shoot through barbed wire on the game. It blocks like all bullets and stuff. So you'll notice like at the start of the game, there was a time I was trying to shoot a guy through like the center of the coil of barbed wire, so there's no wire to block my way, but my shots were getting in the way of that, or being blocked by the barbed wire, which is really annoying. I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Yeah. So, and that includes your team wire too. So if like you have your own coil of wire down that's placed by your teammates, you can't shoot through it. Lobby times were fixed, which was good. I think they could still be reduced somewhat. I think World War II honestly had really good lobby times and something that would be good to look at. And a big thing is reload cancel isn't in this game, which is really annoying because that's something I use a lot. But you have to YY in order to cancel it now, so it's probably something I just indeed focus on and change mentally. But as for that, I guess my last concern that I would have for public matches is that you don't feel like you start with enough ammo to begin with, especially if you have to sit there and shoot different character or different objectives like the barbed wire or the barrier with the microwaves that get put up. So it takes like so much ammo just to finish those off, and you only start with like the magazine that's in your gun and 2 magazines. So when it takes like 2.5 or 3 magazines to destroy just like your common specialist abilities, then it's really frustrating to sit there and start with that much ammo when those are in the game. And I feel like there's some specialist abilities that could have some fine tuning in order to make them more balanced for the game too. I know the dog had its health reduced, but it's still a lot to try and keep up with and kill. So I don't know. There's just a few that I feel like need to be tweaked or balanced a bit more. As does rapid fire. Rapid fire has been an issue I feel for public matches for a long time. Like I get their public matches, so it doesn't really matter. But it's really frustrating when somebody sits there and like you definitely outgun them, but because you didn't increase the fire rate of your gun, like you lose that gunfight. Like it wouldn't be as much of a complaint if it wasn't for the fact that it is so commonly used in public matches in Call of Duty now. Like it feels like every single game at least 2 or 3 people on every single team is running it, and there's not really like a cost to running it. And what I mean by that is that if you equip rapid fire, like the recoil doesn't feel too different from when you have the gun without rapid fire, which I think is a bit ridiculous, because I think like if you're gonna run a gun, something that significantly increases the fire rate, there should either be a ratio that matches the difference in fire rate, or makes it significantly more difficult to use, or includes like a skill cap in order to be successful with it, instead of something like in World War II and on this game where it doesn't really require too much for you to sit there and use rapid fire. So either increase the recoil on it, I would say, or like significantly, or figure out another way to have it in the game, or make it a more costly attachment to use. But as for that, I think pubs are going to be really fun to play this year. There's not, like, especially if those things get implemented. I understand that they're likely not, so don't have the expectation that they will. But yeah, so I'll have another video coming out likely today or tomorrow, discussing what I feel are how the current state of the beta is, and how that will look in competitive. So if you enjoyed this, please feel free to drop a like, follow, subscribe, or whatever you feel like. I do have a Twitter and Twitch that are both same name as I have on here. So if you just type that in, you'll find them. So yeah, I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys for future videos. Thank you.